Hey everyone, welcome to the No BS Travel Advisor Podcast. I'm Marcie Muensterman, your no fluff, no filter, tell it like it is coach. I'm so excited to bring you the stories, strategies, and straight up truths right from the mouths of your colleagues. So glad to have you here. Let's get to it. Hey guys, welcome to the No BS Travel Advisor Podcast. Today is so special to me because my guest isn't just a travel advisor. She is one of my real life friends, even though we haven't met yet. This is Chasity. Chasity and I talk about everything. We talk about travel. We talk about her dating life, my hubby, kids, business, you name it. We even do these DoorDash nights where we will order food and send voice notes to each other while we eat. So even though we haven't met, Jas, I am so pumped you're here and it feels just like we're hanging out. So pour yourself a cup of coffee, hang out in the car line. If you're doing this at night, wind it up. It's going to feel like we have all known each other forever by the end. So Chas, tell me what is going on with you right now. Like, break it down. And how's back to school life going?
Oh gosh, back to school life. I realized maybe last week or the week before was our first week back to school. I have two girls. I have an 8th grader and a 3rd grader, and I'm a single mom. And I realized I need to hire a secretary just to get all of the dates. Because they're an element, there are 2 schools, all the dates, all the PTA meetings, all the activities. I came home with a bundle of papers and sat here for I felt like it was hours. I finally found out a way how to make a Google sheet for calendars and then upload it to my Google Calendar. I'll have to show you.
My gosh.
Save hours. But I didn't find it out until I've been sitting here a while. But every year I do a post on Facebook, who needs a secretary for their kids? And then I had surgery. So they went back to school on Wednesday. I had surgery on Friday.
Oh my gosh. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It was actually easier than anything I've done recently because
she's like, please send me back to the surgery center because it's better than the freaking calendar.
Assumed they can, because my doctor was going out of town and she was like, we need to do it this Friday morning. So I was like, sure, yeah, schedule it. The kids can stay with their dad that weekend, but he wasn't able to. He was out of town. And so they're here. My boyfriend is a professional scuba diver and
weirdest job title ever.
Well, he's actually a search and recovery diver.
Right.
So
yes. You have shared that. I was like, what does a professional scuba diver do?
He's diving for, it's not the fun fish stuff, although he does it on vacation, but he's been in Kerrville where all the floods happened.
Oh my gosh.
Looking for the remaining 2 or 3 people. And so he came home.
That's gotta be emotional for you guys when he's there, but then even when he comes home, decompressing from that.
Yeah. So it's really emotional for me. He's done this for a long time. So I think he is really able to compartmentalize it. He doesn't come home and talk about work on a daily basis unless it's crazy. And then I'm like, did you get to take pictures? And then I'm always like, if you would just let me start a TikTok, we would be rich with this with
the scuba diving search and rescue. Yes, people would love that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, on our first date, I was like, wait, you kind of work in true crime and your grandma lives in Delphi?
What?
Yeah.
She does not.
Yes.
She does. How have we not talked? Have we talked about this?
Yes. Because
look,
everybody knows somebody from Indiana.
I do know everybody has an Indiana connection. It's the weirdest thing.
His parents live up there right outside of Delphi, 6 months a year. And so we visited last summer, last 4th of July, and I went to the bridge. I went to the CVS.
I do remember talking about this.
Grandma lived
oh my gosh,
catty corner from the guy. So I'm like, drive me by that house. I'm taking
because Delphi is a small, tiny Indiana town. There's probably 3 stoplights.
Yeah. And so we went, and they still have the one to we're looking for this guy hanging up. And
oh my God.
It was, the trial hadn't started. It was about to start. And then I think his cousin is a police officer up there. So he was just talking about how crazy the I guess like
So crazy.
for the trial or whatever's going to be. Anyway, so no, he doesn't talk about work that much, but this Texas thing, since I have a daughter that exact same age as those 27 little girls, it like has really hit me hard. And then we had, some friends of friends who were affected. So yeah, that's
It's devastating. I cannot imagine how difficult it has been for those families, and then just to be that intimately connected to it. I'm sure it's been really tough couple of months,
yeah.
honestly.
And just since, it's been 2 months, but just like,
Mhm.
I don't know,
It's
last
hard to believe
couple.
it's already been 2 months.
Yeah, he was like, just driving through, it's still like there's mattresses and blankets up in trees because everything is just,
Yeah, I mean, that's kinda how it is here when a big storm hits and people are like, we've talked about this before too, just that when you're dealing with vacations and you live in a vacation destination like Florida, where I live, and even parts of Texas, it's like you're like, "We live here. We're, like, still recovering, and you're asking me about whether or not you can come visit," and all I see is our news updating that, they have sand still 3 feet in their buildings, so it's like, "Hold on, just take a breath," and I know that that area was a popular tourist spot,
yes.
so it's gonna be a bit before people can get back to
And
it.
that was something crazy to me because one evening he was like, "We're in line to eat at a restaurant." And I was like, "Why are you in line? Who's there?" And he was like, "Well, this next town over where we're staying, it's Fredericksburg. It's very tourist." He was like, "People are still visiting here. It was not hit." And I'm just like, that doesn't even like, yes, because we're seeing the craziness. And then down the road, they still have the wine shops and people are
Sure.
doing.
I mean, that's exactly how it is here. It's just the same. I mean, like one beach is great and the next beach you can't even step foot on it for months at a time. So it's really hard to rectify it kind of in your brain.
Yeah.
So,
But we
yeah.
have had one cool thing. One of my clients, she's a longtime friend, and I just did her multi-generational family trip. She had called, oh, I'm also an accountant, you know that, but she had called and asked something about this tax thing, her business. She was like, "I want to donate to this charity concert for the Hill Country." And I was just like, "Oh, what concert is it?" And she said it's a Josh Abbott band and it's going to be in Austin. I was like, my boyfriend loves that band. And anyway, so he is doing the decor for this benefit concert and asked us to
Cool.
come. So yeah, so we've had some nice opportunities from this and also connected to a client. So, but
I
also,
love that. I love that. And I love too, like, I know for you, Chas, that you're out in the community a lot. This isn't like, yes, you've done a lot of different things social media wise, but I also know that you are really out there. You're very involved at school, just like you were saying, like PTA, you're going to places. I know your daughter is in dance.
so they were both on a competitive dance team or two competitive dance teams. And then last school year decided they wanted to take a break and do normal school stuff rather than just
Okay.
always every weekend. Cause we were at dance probably 5 days a week. And
I
then
remember that, and you were balancing all of that with the travel, but I know that you were able to really get involved in the dance community and have met a lot of great clients that way.
yeah,
So I love to point out when people are doing different things because I think people forget that those things can lead to incredible opportunities in our businesses if we're willing to have conversations. It doesn't make you salesy to open up a conversation if somebody is asking questions. Tell me a little bit more about just the schedule situation because I know for me right now, like I am living in my car. I am in my car like anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day with two different drop offs, like you, like two different schools, two different counties. So, how do you manage having an accounting firm, running a travel business, being a single mom, living in your car, going to PTA meetings? Like, we need all the fucking tips up in here.
Okay, so when I first met you, I was also living in the car. And then last year, yeah, last July, I got a house where the girls can both ride buses to and from their individual school. So the car time has like I don't have that as much anymore. And it has really opened up the hours that I can like work and have some time. But my schedule, so my girls' schools start at different times. The little one gets on the bus around 7:20. The older one leaves close to 9, and then the little one gets home at 3. So I really, with accounting and travel, I really try to keep my work hours to while they're at school. They're going to listen to this podcast and be like, no, mom works at night. Mom works on weekends. Yes, girl. That is when I have a doctor's appointment that day, or I come to your school and volunteer, or I am working on this thing for NCL. Like if I'm doing that during the workday, then I will take time at night to like tidy up work, or like for accounting right now is payroll time. So I was running payroll last night, but I do try to keep my hours. And honestly, I was thinking today, I probably really only work like 20 hours a week between everything.
20 hours total with accounting and travel?
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I
Well,
know you're doing really well right now. So I know that you've hit some big goals this year. So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, you're not really putting in these like hustle type of hours.
it's all about systems and just knowing having a niche, not chasing your tail. Your proposed to close help with, well, first I'll just say, so for accounting, I'm the part-time controller for as digital media firm based in New York. They've been my client for several years. I am like the controller for a grassroots Catholic nonprofit here in Houston, and I've been with them for maybe right since the beginning of COVID, so a while. And then I am working with another bookkeeper. She has closer to like 20 or 30 clients. I'm her account manager, so
Wow.
about half the accounts, I review the bookkeeper work, help train them as needed, and then send the financials out to the clients. And so when I started with her, for example, like the first month is a lot of work, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to do this and travel and that. But once you get your system down, and things just go so fast. And so all of my accounting clients don't take a lot of time, but I do have 3 or 4 weekly meetings. Oh, and
Wow.
I do the accounting for a couple of travel agents too that have just found me, online, like, hey, you're a CPA,
Right.
can you help? And then
Absolutely.
with travel, you really just, if you decide I'm going to fit everything I'm doing into this bucket of time, you just find a way to make it happen. Like you hustle. I know you hate that word, so I shouldn't say hustle. You work quickly and get it
You
done.
can say whatever word you want.
Well, it's not hustling like hustle 24/7. It is
Right.
between.
Get your systems down into a workflow that fits in this timeline, and
Yeah.
you can get everything you need to get done and more
Yeah,
if you're
but so
focused.
between 8:30 and 3, I'm grinding pedal to the metal. I use Asana for my workflows because I've used it forever. My whole life is in there. It is pretty similar to Trello. I used Trello before and then for some reason switched over to Asana.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
there's all kinds of options in terms of organizing your life, for
and
sure.
so I have it set up. So basically, your proposed to close course, I put all the steps in there. And then every time I'm working, if I find like, I need to change up this step or change this, or I want to change this text that I would send to clients, I go in and edit my template. So I never have to keep extra stuff in my brain. Like it's there. I read this a long time ago. The less stuff that is in your brain, the better. I have everything in Asana. Like every 6 weeks, I get a reminder to schedule a haircut. Like I don't even have to
I
think.
love that. No, that's smart, because when we're talking about calendar control,
Mhm.
it's not just this is when I do appointments for my travel business. It is every single thing needs to be in your calendar. Every single thing. That's why today when we got on here a little late and we were both kind of scattered, I'm like, that really throws us off. Like I thought my phlebotomist was supposed to be here at 8. I had to text you and be like, I don't know when the hell she's coming. I might end up being 15 minutes late. I think it's like, no, that does not fit in my schedule.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard for travel advisors. And I think we can, especially because we both do 2 different businesses at the same time during the working hours we have, that they want to do everything at the exact same time. So when you're organizing your day, what does that look like? Do you do everything every day, or do you have like it broken down into I do proposals this day, I do calls this day? Because that's how I train it. But like, I wonder how you do it.
Yeah. So I have on my schedule every Monday morning for like an hour, I have it blocked out where it's like draft your social media
Okay.
for the week or the next week.
Love that. Love it.
And if Mondays are crazy or you're not caffeinated enough or you just had surgery and you still feel medicated, I don't always get to that. But I find that like while I'm sitting here with a coffee, and sometimes, you sit down and you just can't get to work. You just like need to ease in. So I'll go not create because I have your Trello. I'll go just schedule a few posts for my Facebook. So I try to do that on Monday and have the whole week like, planned out. And I only do about a week and a half at a time.
That's smart.
I like to keep them fresh. And I also.
Yeah, and things happen. Like if the news pops up, you want to be able to like plug that in instead of like backtracking or, I always tell people, well, you're tired because you're trying to do 30 days at a time and we don't know what's going to happen in 3 weeks.
And so the most I can concentrate on a single like thing unless something crazy is going on, about 45 minutes. So 45 minutes is the most I would work on social media. Sometimes it's 15 or 20. And then I have set days. So Monday is kind of a gather and see what's going to be done for the weekend. I'll usually be addressing, I typically don't log into accounting clients on Fridays. I send reports and that's it. So on Mondays is like my email and catch up and set my week. Tuesday morning, I work on accounting client A. Tuesday afternoon, accounting client B. Wednesday, I have my schedule set up this week. The past couple weeks have been crazy, but I'll only do client calls on a certain day. And then I dedicate like, okay, this day is for travel. And unless I have people traveling, I'm totally okay with when they text or email saying, okay, I'll get this to you Wednesday. Or, this is going to, but like Monday, I was chatting a lot with the current bride that I'm working with because I made her little website for booking and stuff. And she's a nurse. So she will a lot of times text or email at night. And so I'll get to this, but I was on a groove with that. So I was like, I'm going to work on this after my kids go to bed. I'm so excited to get it finished. So, but I definitely have set days. Typically on a Friday or a Monday, I'll decide what I'm going to work on each day. So it's not like always on Wednesday. I look at like, when do I have outside of the house appointments and who can I slot in there? So it is time blocked, but you do have to decide that ahead of time or you will just work and not get anything done. Like you have to say, I'm going to do this. And I am a procrastinator to the max. So if I'm like, crap, I have to get this done this week, but I have until Friday. Well, I'll wait until Friday to do it because I work great under pressure. That's not a habit, but I know that that's my slot and it has to get done.
I love that though, because it really shows that you can be flexible within the boundaries of the time blocks you've allotted for travel. And a lot of people are always like, Marcie, how do you time block? And I'm like, it's not a matter of blocking actual like 15 minutes for this, 20 minutes for this, because our jobs, every single task has its own workflow. So it's like you do have to learn your style, your workflow, and then of course within that decide which days you want to do those tasks. And I think a lot of travel advisors will sit down with their email and they'll try to do email at the same time they're building a proposal, or they'll be doing, their phone will ring, and instead of letting it go to voicemail and returning that call, they'll answer the phone and be on the phone for 40 minutes, and then all of a sudden their whole workflow is thrown into a loop. And then they're like, where did I leave off? And that's where mistakes can really happen. And that's where even someone like me, like everything was in my head. And Mary Beth Lynn is the one that was like, with the assistants at work, she was like, you cannot run your business inside your head. If no one else knows what's going on inside your head, your business is not actually growing or scaling. And you're going to, well, we just call it burnout. Like you're going to burn out, or you're going to make some horrible error that could cost a lot of money. And we don't have time for all that. Like we're already doing so much. But before we keep talking about that, I want to talk about your love of romance travel, because you've been talking about the wedding thing. And I know before we got on here, we were talking about a client I referred to you, and how is she from Indiana too? Yes. I mean, so like our crossover is amazing. And I do sometimes pass out some good referrals because you said she has 30 rooms booked. So when you're managing your weddings, is everything just in a certain flow as well, and how you communicate with her and doing those types of things? Because I know weddings can get stressful, like planning them. I mean, I'm done doing it. Like, girl, I loved doing it while I was doing it, but this was one of the first referrals I gave out after I retired from the wedding sector. The destination wedding sector took me down.
I've retired from weddings. Yeah. So, and I remember when I started coaching with you. That very first call we had, I was like, I really want to do weddings and honeymoons, but I am divorced. I'm single. I don't know that I was dating Jared at the time, but I was like,
I can't
how
remember.
can like a divorced single mom sell weddings? And you were
And
like,
so, yeah, we had to work through some of that
yeah,
imposter syndrome and limiting
yeah.
belief because you love it. Like, you're so good at it. And
Yeah, so I knew that's what I wanted to do, and because I still believe in love,
yes, we
my
have Jared now, so we're happy.
wedding was a destination wedding, but in Telluride, Colorado, not on a beach. And I did that. It was small and not like weddings of today. Like I had a wedding planner up there who handled everything. So, and I love adult all inclusives. I just love I love working with groups. I love getting to know the couple. And then when their friends and family come in and meeting them, and it's just like a blast. I mean, the last wedding I did, they got married the beginning of August. The aunt and uncle invited me to the wedding when I was
I'm
on the call with
obsessed with this.
yeah, booking their flights. And I texted my bride Zoe later. I was like, "Hey, did you know Eli's aunt and uncle just invited me to y'all's wedding?" And she was like, "Well, what's one more?" You know, I was laughing, but they
That is
just are
so
like,
cute.
yeah, we were on the phone and they're like, "So you're going to be there, right?" And I was like, "No, I don't really come to the wedding."
I know. People would always ask me the same thing. And sometimes I was like, got really close to my couple. And I did go to a couple of weddings, but I was
Yeah,
like, I am here as a guest. I'm just going to like sit at the very back table.
I know. And some like flight craziness and stuff. So
Right.
I wasn't there because I would have been scrambling. But yeah, and then I don't even know Alexis and Kaden other than from being on the phone and text with them. And when I set up on Monday, I set up their wedding website and we're still working on it. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is," I'm like, "I want to come now."
Wait, you set up an entire wedding website. We love this. What does that look like for them? And how does that work into the schedule?
So I allotted time for it. Okay, so for the same way that you have a workflow for a booking for an FIT, I make one for a wedding. And
100%.
it's a template, and I feel like maybe every time I'm doing one, I'm changing timeline or adding things to it, but it's basically like you have the couple inquiry, you secure the wedding date, you pay the deposit for the wedding date, you get the room block. It's all this. Now they have their room block. They're getting ready to save the dates, and
Love that.
so I had a website made. I worked with a branding website copywriter. They got it all done. And so my intent was like, oh, I'm going to have her design this template that I can duplicate for wedding websites. And then this kind of snuck up on me like, oh, they need to send out save the date. So I texted her and was like, hey, I have this idea that I want you to make this thing I can duplicate. And she was like, great, we can do it. It's going to be a few weeks. And I was like, crap, they need to
Shit.
get this. So I learned how, I'll send you the thing. I made it on Canva and it was really easy. Well, wait, okay, so it was easy. It took maybe 2 hours, but 3 hours. But that also included making like a custom booking form. So they're on the website, they get the information about the rooms, and then they click book here, and it opens up one of my Travel Joy forms where they fill out
Awesome.
all their info. That creates their client profile. So now I'm
Perfect.
like, I don't know if I need her to make this duplicate thing because I can
Uh,
do it. She
yeah.
expanded like my website, but Canva made it really easy. I feel like a few months ago, I asked in your Maximize group, like, hey, does anyone do their own websites? And someone posted one that or sent to me like, hey, I did this one on Canva. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Nice. We love that.
So
I love
sharing,
that.
I think Melissa Esposito, is that her name? She's in your group.
She's awesome. She does
Yes.
a ton of weddings. That's like
Yeah,
her.
and she had reached out to me about some other things because she's way more ahead in her career than I am, but she was like, hey, here's some training you might be interested in. She's great. And that's why if you're an agent and you're not in Marcie's little inner circle, actually, it's a huge group now.
It is now. It was so small when you and Melissa, like in the early days, I was like 500 agents, and now it's over 13,000.
And y'all, these are people that I haven't met, and they're like, she's like, hey, I know that you needed an example of a wedding page, so here's this. And it's connected to my website. It's on Show It. And then when my designer made my site on Show It, that's what gave me the idea. I was like, oh, I can have her set something similar to Melissa's, and then I can duplicate it. So all these resources that you get just for being active
in
in
the free
Marcie's
group. Yeah.
asking the question, you have to be ready to say or able. I feel like maybe, I don't know, this is some imposter syndrome or something. You have to be like, oh, hey, I do weddings and I have no idea how to do a website. Anyone have an example? Like, I need to throw something.
But it's okay.
You have to
It's
be
okay
vulnerable.
that you don't know how to do every single thing that needs to be done for such a huge event.
Yeah.
My really burning question that I've had in the back of my mind is, do you use propose to close for your weddings? Because
Yes.
we do first and best. And I think a lot of specialists, I know I did this, I would send like 6 choices. Like, and obviously, I don't do that anymore. But how do you work first and best in with a wedding couple?
Honestly, I do it just like you teach it. But the more choices you give someone, the harder it is to decide. We all know that. If you've got a choice, a Cheesecake Factory menu is like 42 pages. You know you're always going to order the chicken marsala. So yeah, I totally use propose to close with wedding clients because
Awesome.
that's my system. Like if I'm changing my system for every type of client or changing my workflow from every type of client, I wouldn't get everything done. 20 hours a week.
Absolutely. So how do they respond when I know you tell them, right? So that's the expectation.
Mhm.
You're going to get first and best. When you present it, do you feel like they're okay with it? Like, obviously you're doing well, but
So wedding clients are a little different in that this is a huge deal and a huge investment. And I do charge a nice fee for weddings.
good.
So yeah.
Well, they're a lot of time. They're the most time with the most hours at the
Yeah.
least. Like, it doesn't always
Yeah.
turn out to be
And
even minimum wage
yeah.
sometimes.
And like if I wouldn't feel like sitting here and working on a customized wedding website if I didn't have some kind of payment up front. I would be so depressed because this couple is not getting married until next May.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's a while from now,
I won't
obviously.
see
That's how weddings work.
any revenue from this wedding until what, June or July, because it pays 6 or 8 travel. So if the fee is what keeps me going and makes me like, okay, I can do this work up front and not feel like I'm spending so much time, because there's also never a guarantee that all these guests are going to come, or what if.
Of course. We can only count on like 40 to 50-ish% of the actual invitation list coming to a wedding.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can count commissions
Yeah.
for a while. And sometimes commissions on weddings are slower to pay
Yeah.
because they're rectifying so many rooms. And our
And
tour operators tend to like take their real time with those
Then
payouts.
when you are doing a room block, your commission is like a little lower because the room is at a good rate, and by the time they travel, if they had booked, it's just, yeah, commissions are a little bit lower on the groups than I feel like if we did like an express group or whatever, or a flexible group where they
Right, a flex group
can
where you're
top
just
it up
paying the
quite a
current
bit.
rate
Yeah.
instead of negotiating the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, completely, for
Yeah.
sure. So you do the whole process, the whole propose to close process, just like
Yeah.
you would for an FIT or an
And
all-inclusive
a
honeymoon
lot
or
of the
something.
work is not in the proposal, it's on the phone call. And talking to them and saying, okay, so I have some ideas, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I have this resort in mind. I'm going to send it to you. Let me know what you think and what direction. So I don't tell them this is your choice and you're going with it, because you can.
You're not like, this is the only one you get.
Yeah. A honeymoon, I'm very confident and being like, this is a resort and this is the itinerary and you're going to love it. But obviously with weddings, I'll be like, there's one in mind, and I give that to them. The first time I used it, I didn't do like a proposal. ran ideas by, because they had an idea, they wanted it in Cabo, and I had to get their expectations for their wedding. I'm like, you're not going to be able to swim and all this. So they ended up not going with Cabo, but that's when SLS was new. It was not open yet. And I said, there is this brand new resort, and I think that it's going to fit what you want, but I don't have any wedding pictures of it. I don't have
Right.
any experience. They're not open. We can't even start planning it for like a month, but I think that you're really going to love it. And you'd be like the first or second wedding there. And they were, and it was wonderful.
Nice, girl. That's kind of hard to pull off when
Yeah.
a brand new resort opening that's very anxiety ridden
I
anyway.
couldn't even show them pictures of here's what a wedding would look like here.
That is
I just had to
awesome.
say, look at these photos and cross my fingers that it's not like an artist rendering of the area.
Right. And then also just having a laid back enough couple to make that work, because obviously a lot of clients want every single detail planned out before they go. And if you don't even have anything to visualize, you're just kind of like, this is about where it'll be. And of course they are doing the artist rendering. So that's awesome that she was so go with the flow on that.
Yeah. And then, so this couple, and some couples come and they have researched and they know which resort they want. So I still go through the process and make sure that that will work for them.
Right.
But Alexis and Kaden, she was like, we really want Breathless. And so I was like, okay, let's talk about what you want. And they even had chosen like the gazebo where they want. And she
Love that.
young, there's going to be no kids. We want a party atmosphere. Okay, Breathless.
Oh, fun.
It's going to be great for them. So sometimes they come with an idea and I just help vet it out. But I do the first and best. And then I typically will say, I have another one if this isn't perfect. And they typically do want to see it. But I've never had to propose like so many. I mean,
oh yeah. I mean, I had clients back in the day where I was sending just so many different options. And I think it took a little while for me to really figure it out. But once I got into a flow, I was like, the less options, the better, because it is you're already like thinking about flowers and your bridal shower and you just have this huge list of things you have to get done. And so it's like finding those preferred properties too. I felt like once I got into a flow of that, then it was like, well, these are the properties that are the best at what they do for my clientele.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big thing with weddings for me. And we were talking about this earlier, how Alexis came to be because it was like a referral from a referral from a referral of mine. And I was able to pass that to you. And one of their friends was a little upset because I wasn't doing weddings anymore and I didn't get to refer that one out. But I'm so glad it has worked out because I know this group and they always get engaged. People get engaged almost at every single wedding, or they go and they're already engaged and they come back and they're like, I want to do a wedding like Alexa or whatever, or Morgan or whoever was getting married. And it's a great group. And I think what's really cool is that relationship just builds and builds with these couples and it just explodes. And you're probably like, why don't you do weddings anymore? But
I get it.
I've grown out of it and you're growing into it. And look at you. It doesn't matter that you had been divorced. Like nothing, you can sell something that no one's seen. I mean, because you have all this confidence through your process.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And another thing, so I have your close to home course, and that is where, so I do see a lot of wedding advisors who they get really close with the couple and then they just book the rooms for everyone else. But I close to home with everyone else when at all possible. Some people just aren't responsive. They just want to book the room and they never respond.
Right.
So, and that's where I've built, I build relationships. The aunt and uncle asked me to come to a wedding.
Right. They're like obsessed with you too. It's not just the couple.
Facebook group before Alexis did. So like
that's awesome. I mean, that's fantastic. That's what we're looking for too within those wedding groups is it can go further. You can build relationships. And then of course, those people will be like, oh, I'll call Chasity for all of my travel, especially if it's Caribbean, romance, those types of things. I'm obsessed. I'm so excited. Like, I am curious because we didn't really talk about this at the beginning. Like, how did you find me? Because you were a travel advisor and you took some time off and then how did that go?
Yeah. So the time off was COVID and a divorce. And
I mean, that's a good reason to take a break from doing travel.
years. And then, okay. So speaking of, the story. Okay. So had a very small dabble friends and family travel agency starting in around 2016. Wait, when was it? Yeah, 2016. I had used a travel agent prior. I'd had one great experience with someone and one experience that I was like, I don't know why I didn't just do this myself. Well, I was doing it all
Right.
myself anyway for Disney. When I was pregnant with my second, I got put on bed rest December, January, and she was born in June, and she was actually early. So I was like stuck on the couch. So I was like, I could probably be a travel agent. And I had a career before in accounting, and then I quit when my oldest was born. So before basically to 2022, I hadn't worked for like 12 years.
Wow. Okay.
So in 2016, we wanted to go on a Disney cruise. I was like, we'll have an infant. You have to be 6 months to be on the Disney cruise. We'll have an infant and a 5-year-old. Let's do a Disney cruise. And I was like, I bet there's a way to become a travel agent so I can book this and make a commission.
Oh
So
my God, you're every single travel agent's current worst nightmare. Like this conversation is like especially the agents who specialize in Disney. Like they're gonna start crawling out of their car.
yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna Google how to become a travel agency.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it.
But okay, so one of my really good friends, her name is Susan Butler, and she is the travel butler. She booked us at Excellence way back in, I think it was 2011 or 2012. So
Oh
that
my
was
God. Excellence was the very first Mexico all-inclusive I ever stayed at.
that is
Sorry to
the
interrupt you.
rug because it was amazing. We got there, we're like,
Yes.
Says
Such a great
what?
brand that absolutely hates us now.
I will still book it because people love it. Like they love it.
I know. I won't.
Yeah.
I just put my stubborn foot down and I refuse to book it, but I'm glad. No,
They
it's a
really
great
hate it.
property line.
Well,
I mean,
but
I fell in
remember,
love with
and
it.
we have honeymooned in St. Louis, at a nice resort, which is now a lot nicer. It's Sugar Beach.
Oh yeah, Sugar Beach is a good one.
My ex-husband, I feel it was just a couple weeks ago with the girls, we were at some event and I was like, hey, remember where we went in St. Lucia for our honeymoon? Look at it now. It is like so nice. And he's like, dang.
That's hilarious.
I know we get along. We get along now.
That's good. I know you guys do. That's
But,
really good.
my friend Susan, she's a virtuoso, and I remember getting there, and it's an all-inclusive, so this stuff is all included anyway, but we got in the room, and there was a fruit basket and a bottle of sparkling wine and a note from Susan, and this was also in the days of paper travel documents. They had came in a travel impressions, little reusable, zippable binder, and
you got the documents, but you also got like luggage tags. My mom literally had a travel impressions luggage tag on her luggage until like last year. And I think she got it in 2007.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get to this resort and there's a note that's like, and this was one of my best friends. Like I babysat her cat and I don't, I don't like.
You don't do cats. I know.
I don't do cats. I hope my boyfriend hears this. He knows how much I love him because I don't do cats, but I babysat his cat.
You are a good girlfriend.
Susan had booked our trip and just having this note in there she is booking super ultra high luxury and you're way below her price range. But I just felt like such a oh my gosh, this is so nice. So then when I was like, I want to be a travel agent like Susan, not like, I don't know this lady. I don't even remember her name.
Don't say it.
No, I won't even know. I'm just making
Don't say the name.
years and years ago.
I know, but I would have to bleep it out. Like not bleeping the
mommy message board. And honestly, based on the service I got, she was probably a part-time because she didn't really do anything. I got up at the crack of dawn to make my Disney reservations because she was like, oh, and I had read you need to do that. So I Googled how to become a travel agent. I think this was before MLMs too. I found host agency reviews or whatever that good website is.
Yep. We love her.
And I found an agent, it was legit, big agency, good, low fees. Everybody knows it. We like it.
We love it.
It signed up with them for, I want to say it was like $19 a month. Book my Disney cruise. I'm like, yay, I'm getting, what is it, $600 or $800 back from this or whatever. And then those what is it called? The fish extender groups for Disney group.
Yep.
I joined
Yep.
one of those and met people, and I wasn't advertising I was a travel agent or anything, not even to my mom, because I wasn't. I just booked our trip for the commitment back. But someone in that group was like, hey, we need a travel agent for our next, our next Disney cruise or whatever. And then I ended up running into her and meeting her on the cruise. And
Okay.
we also had little girls who were in dance, and we chatted about that. And she booked a Disney cruise and listed me as the agent. So that was my first client like
Oh
that.
my God. I love this so much. It's like accidental travel agent.
Yeah.
Moment.
I was like, well, it's a Disney cruise. I can do that. So I did that. Then so a few years went by. I was just dabbling. Like, I had a friend,
Right.
his wife, his family, his sister's family, and his parents would do a big trip every year. He liked to book on Expedia because he got the point, like, apparently you get points for Expedia.
Oh yeah, it's like you do.
Yeah.
And Hotwire's like that, and book like hotels.com
so
has a club. Like
I
you can
was
get like the 10th room free, stuff
So
like that.
he was like, I need help finding a resort. I'm like, I can book that for you. And he was like, no, I'm booking it through Expedia. And I was like, well, pay me $250 and I'll tell you what resort to go to.
I am obsessed with this. Wait, this was what? This was what year was that you were like, I'm going to charge a fee?
2017.
I'm obsessed because we were definitely not on the fee train back then. Like most of us were not charging at all for anything, let alone for just giving the name of a property. I love you, Cass. You're like so ahead of the game.
I can't even remember. I might have told them to go to Finest. I can't even remember, but they went, they loved it. Next year rolls around. His wife said, hey, talk to Chasity and get her take on a resort. And he's like, no, I don't want to. And he booked something. I want to say, it might have been
Because he didn't want to pay you again.
He didn't want to pay me. And we were good friends. We texted.
I am obsessed with this.
But he's like, I'm just going to book this, whatever. And I was like, you're not going to like it.
You're not going to like it, but you go ahead and do that because I'm not giving you my advice.
On the vacation, he texts. He's like, yeah, Alyssa just told me you're paying Chasity next year.
I'm obsessed. So do you still work with them?
No. We
Okay.
kind of lost touch.
Well, because obviously you did have to take that break during COVID and the divorce. So when did you come back? Like, I'm so glad you came back for you too.
In COVID, so I had started an Instagram and I followed some wedding planners and would comment on their Instagram posts, and someone just hired me to book their trip to Ireland from that. And
when did they book?
Before COVID. And
before COVID. Okay, got it. Sorry.
So I kind of ventured into social media. So COVID comes around, that quarter was the first time I was really doing this like as a job. I was like, I can actually make some money and I have clients. I had a $20,000 Royal Caribbean, one couple booked. COVID, everything, like, they canceled. Nobody was like, we're moving this, we're canceling. And then so I canceled those.
COVID was so depressing, girl, especially if you're full time and this was your only job. I mean, it was the most fucking depressing time. I think I canceled like $700,000.
Yeah, I cannot.
Oh my God.
I luckily was married at the time, and my husband was a breadwinner. This was just going to be like my fun play money.
It's still depressing. It's like
it was,
and looking at it like, where am I gonna? And you still have to do the job. You have to process the cancellation. You had to remove it from your books, follow up.
The one that really got me and made me just like, I'm not doing this anymore. It was a referral from a friend. She said he was a younger couple. They were in their 20s or 30s at the time, and he had a brain tumor. And they GoFunded me a trip for him and his wife I think they were just driving into New York City and staying for a bit because he couldn't fly. And they asked me to plan it. I did that, and it had to cancel for COVID, and they didn't get to go. And he passed away. And I just was like, I'm not.
So sorry though. That's a hard one.
I can't even handle this. So I'm not doing this. And then Had to homeschool my kid, work on my marriage, all that stuff. So just travel agenting, no. Then,
This travel agenting, it
um,
became a thing of the past.
yeah. And this is why I still have the handful of accounting clients because I went through COVID and
Mhm.
now I am the only income and I can't, like, if something happens, I can't only have travel. So I'll always have
Right.
the handful of accounting clients. And I know
That's
if,
smart, Chassie. Having 2
yeah,
streams of income
yeah,
for most of us is smart. I mean, I think a lot of travel advisors either have another career or they might be doing
yeah,
other things to have streams of income because it's so unstable. And
yeah,
I think COVID really woke us up.
it
It
did.
woke me up. So it's important to have a backup plan.
Yeah, there's just no guarantee. It could just be like a worldwide safety. Literally anything can happen.
Well, even a client like your favorite couple could sadly, I had clients who canceled their weddings like a month before their wedding and then trying to figure out getting whether people would go or not go and then it changes your commission drastically and you've been
Yeah.
working with this couple for 2 years and it's like that was what sent me over and I think 2013 I had a situation like that and I was already burnt out as hell. And I just remember being like, I worked with these people for 2 years and now they're not even getting married. And now I'm not getting all of this commission.
Because then you're like, at least I got $1,000.
Right. Yes. And back then, I will never forget asking my agency owner if we could charge $50.
I just had to ask you what your first fee was. Mine was $250 and I had never even booked a trip.
No, but they said no. They said no. So I did not charge a fee until June of 2020. To do
No.
travel. So yeah, girl, like
Wow.
I did hundreds of weddings before I charged a fee. Look,
That is
that's why when I wrote Propose to Close, I was like, you can do this without a fee because I knew how to sell without the fee, like first and best and doing all the things and getting hired without the fee. But with the fee makes all the difference.
lucky dog. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah. Because
wild.
I was quoting like 6 or 8 properties and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd really love to charge like a $50 fee for this. I mean, I
Or
literally
property.
it's so depressing to think about how much time and energy I spent just for
Yes. Yeah.
absolutely zero income. Like,
My
because the commission does not make up for the 2 years of work.
no.
It just doesn't,
No.
sadly. I mean, I wish it did. I wish we got so much money, but we don't. These
Even
resorts
the
don't
commission
pay.
with the fee probably doesn't even put us at minimum wage
No.
for 2 years, and you have to love your
Oh, and I was only on a 70% fucking split.
yeah.
So, like 30% of the money I actually made, which obviously that's the way it goes. Hosts and agencies, they
No.
charge up, and that's okay. I don't mind a commission cut, but it was so high that after,
Yeah.
2, 3 years of that and doing so much work, it just felt like you were getting shot in the gut every time especially if somebody canceled or ghosted you after working with you for 3 months or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, it was just so yeah, when I came back, and of course I came back right before COVID.
Oh.
I was like, let me restart my business in 2018. And then and by 2020 it was like up and going. I was like all the way back in. Had to move 5 weddings out of 2020 into 2021 into 2022.
Full job. Like
Just
moving
moving
house,
them,
just moving.
renegotiating contracts. I made far less money because the rates were so bad coming off of COVID. Oh my God. And I wasn't charging fees at that time. So like, oh my God, girl, I could talk about myself all day. So we'll go back. We'll
Yeah.
go back. Like, so you took some time off during COVID and got divorced and had to come out of that.
For how I even came back into it. I will say accounting, this might blow your mind, but accounting is actually really boring.
I'm shocked.
So long and I'm so familiar, like, and meeting with them every week and going over everything. So I'm so familiar with it. There's no creativity in accounting because you go to jail. It just felt like I needed something and I was single, but I guess I didn't really have like a hobby besides working out. And I feel like I've discovered lately, I think I'm just very entrepreneurial minded. Like if I'm in a
Love it.
hobby, if it's going to be fun, if I can travel, if I can meet people and make some money, why wouldn't you do that?
Why wouldn't you do that?
Why would I make a craft or something that is just going to be junk in my house I'm not going to use? So
Mhm.
I was kind of, let's see, you know what? I did. I signed back up with that first host agency maybe, but I was still like, it was more just like, I'll just work with my friends and family some. And so this is crazy. Dance World. Dance met a friend who I was like, oh, she was sitting there. She's like, hang on, guys. I'm on my laptop. I'm working on some PTA stuff. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm like, I'm on our PTA board too. I was like, is that like, your volunteer work? She's like, well, I'm a travel agent, but I'm a retired CPA. And so we were like
Oh
bonding.
my God. It was like besties in the moment.
I stayed in touch and the girls she and I, we had another mutual friend, but this mutual friend was like, hey, did you know that Amanda filed for divorce on the exact same day that you did? And
That is so fucking weird.
so I called her and she's like, yeah. And so we became buddies. And then I was like, I used to be a travel agent. This is crazy. I booked a vacation for me and my girls through her.
Okay.
Then I was like, I'm just gonna fire mine back up because I still have some of these old contacts. Like I've lost some of them, and plus the fee for outside agents was like so low. It's like $29 a month.
Yeah, it's really affordable to be with OA.
I'll do this. But Amanda is one of my best friends. We say we're Thelma and Louise. We've done
Love it.
camps together when she had some free rooms. We went to the Dominican together. We're on the same holiday kids schedule. So the first year that neither of us had our kids with us, we took a week-long cruise for Thanksgiving. We woke
Good
up on
for
a
you.
different beach every day.
Love that.
So many memories. Our girls, my oldest and her daughter's a couple of years older, but they're like besties. There are times when Allie will text Georgia and be like, OMG, your mom's over here again.
I love it. I love it. It just has come full circle for you, really. Like travel just kept coming back into your life. Like you were not getting away from it. And now look at
So
you.
on Facebook one day, just browsing, and Outside Agents has a very active agent Facebook group. And so when I'm just I had been in there, so browsing on my normal thing, it came up like it says maximize. What is the name of your group?
Maximize your travel advisor business. Build a profitable TA career.
Yes,
That's the whole thing. If you need to Google it, it'll come up though. It'll come up if you just put in maximize travel advisor. It'll pop right up. Yeah.
Came up on my phone as like a suggested group, and I sent it to my friend. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to join this group. I don't know if this girl knows what she's talking about or not, but
talk about imposter syndrome." When I started that group, I did not want to start it. I was like, "Who is going to join this and like listen to anything I have to say?"
But I got in there and it was still small. It was like 2020. What would that have been? 2023?
2023. It was early 2023. And it was before I launched the Facebook group. I mean, the Facebook groups course.
Yeah, you did.
Launched it first. And then I was writing and finishing up the course to sell it to you guys. I was like, I'm going to build this little group and see if I have any interest in this little thing I wrote. And I know it works, but I didn't know if anybody would give a shit.
Just a couple thousand people when I joined, probably.
Yeah.
I know Laura was in there, and then you started selling your course, and then another. So I had an idea that this girl knows what she's doing because I saw Maximize growing, and I knew I was like, there's some like cadence or timing to her post and like what she's doing because the way it's going, and I want to know what that is. But I was like, I'm not ready to have a Facebook group or pay for a course right now. I think my divorce probably hadn't finalized. It takes like a year to finalize and get like access to all your financial stuff.
Right.
It's on hold until anyway. So yeah, I was like, I'm not spending any extra money because I'm not making money at this yet. And then Melissa Esposito's group came up as a recommended group, and I just clicked on it to join, and we didn't know each other, and she let me in, and I was like, she's got something like
she's doing the same
post too. I don't know what's going on. And I was actually active in her group. Like I would comment on her engagement posts and stuff and chat.
Yeah.
with people
She
because
never followed the rule of not letting other TAs in her group. She was always like, "It's a community. I want everybody in." I'm
I'm
like, "You
not
do
in
you, girl."
now, but I did. It sold me on your group. And honestly, I wasn't there to like steal her clients or anything, but I was like, when I commented, and I know what an algorithm is, and I was like, it's building her group when I'm in here.
Right.
So at some point I bought your bought your group's course, and then it must have been early in the year because you're like, I'm gonna do one-on-one coaching. And I just took a leap of faith and signed up because I was like, Marcie has experience and she knows the industry, and she's doing something right because this group is growing like crazy. So I was like, I've not spent this much money on something, but I'm going to do it. And then that was history. And turns out
I
you're
love it.
doing.
Can I tell you something I don't know if I've told you about when you first signed up, when you applied to coach with me? First
Yeah.
of all, I was slightly terrified of you because there are a lot of people in my group who comment, but you would always comment just in a very direct tone, which is super hard to pull off because people take it the wrong way all the time. And I had gotten a few messages about your comments where people were not very happy about your comments. And I would be like, no, that's okay. Like, you have to have a little bit of a backbone to be in here. We're not mean. She's not being mean. She's just telling you the truth. And just because you don't like to hear the truth. But I remember when you signed up, I had texted Miranda and I was like, Chasity signed up. She is scary. I don't know if we're going to mesh because we're both like super in your face. And I was like, look at some of her advice. I get complaints about her advice.
That's just crazy.
I don't even remember who it was. It was that long ago. But I didn't ever want to tell you that because I didn't want you to change. But
That is funny.
I'm having this memory flashback of telling Miranda I was slightly terrified to say yes to your application.
I was scared the same because I was like, we could really butt heads, but
Mhm.
I'm hiring her as my coach, and I don't even know how to describe it, but when you're hiring, I'm hiring you because you're direct and because you're
Right.
going to tell me what to do. I don't need someone to mom and nice me. I need
Right. Exactly.
your personality one-on-one is like this, like we're
I know. I don't know how to do it other way. I was like,
it
take
is weird though, but I had someone asking, I don't know, they had emailed asking for advice or something, and I was like, well, I think you need to touch base with Marcie, and they're like, no, I'm terrified of her. I was like, I don't want to get. She has never.
I literally
at
respond
me.
to every single DM that I get. Every single one. And now I'm doing it in voice text, so you get like this.
You get 5 minutes of it.
It's easier. It's easier than me because some of the messages I get, because sometimes I'll be like, girl, I don't even know what I'm doing
I
right now.
was afraid too, but I knew that at least on my part, I was going to be coachable. And that was one of your things in the application. You said, this is like the gym. You can pay for the gym and still stay flabby. You didn't say this, but
I would never say that. I said it's like nobody from the gym is going to start calling you up to come into the gym.
yes.
I'm not going to call you and be like, hey, you haven't talked to me in 2
But
weeks.
if you don't log on and like listen to your advice or and that was it. I was like, if you can be in a free group all day and get all the information, but if you don't put it into place and work, then it's just
Yeah, I mean, implementation is the only thing that change. Like buying a course is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And even being on social media is the bare minimum.
Yes.
And reading a post and answering a post is a bare minimum. It's posting a post. That's Miranda said that last week. She's like, some people think just posting something one time is supposed to convert, and posting to post is literally the bare minimum. And so we like got way into that. But it's like, if you're going to invest in yourself and you're going to invest in this course, I mean, I had to go live and propose to close last week because people will message me and say, I haven't finished the course, but I need help. And I'm like, please go fucking finish the course because I answer all of your questions. And the one thing about you, Chas, is you've always done everything I've ever asked you to do. So even though we both are very direct, it's like, well, you're not going to have results if you don't try the thing I'm asking you to try.
Okay, y'all, let's pause for a quick break. If you are sick of spinning your wheels on social media and want a real way to grow your travel business, the No BS Facebook Groups course is exactly what you need.
I have been running my business 100% inside of my Facebook group since 2018, selling $600,000 to $1 million in gross sales a year, working just 20 hours a week. And now I'm teaching you how to have the social media business that grows your network and brings in your most aligned clients. This self-paced course is built specifically for travel advisors, covering everything from starting your group to boosting engagement and connecting with clients using my proven 3-pillar strategy. Plus, you'll get access to my members-only Facebook group and reusable content calendar through Trello to jumpstart your business. I know you're ready to ditch the social media hustle. Grab my course now, and don't forget to check the show notes for an exclusive coupon code just for my podcast listeners. Okay, now back to the pod.
You can't pay for the gym, stay at home and watch TV and get a six-pack.
Correct.
Like,
And
you
your business isn't going to change unless you change it. Like, I say this all the time because somebody asked me, I think it was even a couple weeks ago, they were like, I bought your course in July and I'm not having results. And I was like, okay, well, where are you at? Like, I always ask questions like, where are we going? And she's like, oh, well, I've only finished up to module 2, but I tried it once. And I was like, what? You haven't actually finished
done
it.
it. You haven't done
And
it. You tried.
I really care about your success. Like, I care so much, so much more, I think, than regular coaches.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
because I never abandon you. You can message me, you can post all about it. But if you don't actually take the investment seriously and actually do the time. And even right now, I have like, you know, my wait list open for a new groups course. And it's like, okay, I can't come to 5 of the 6 calls. Can I be on the wait list? I'm like, no, because this is how we're doing it. Like, if you're not on the calls, you're not actually taking the course. And there's only 44 spots. Please don't take someone's spot if you're not going to show up.
I'd be disappointed if I joined and I get on a call and there's only 4 people there because we're supposed
I'll lose it. I will fucking lose it. But yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, you know, you and I would always talk about just your value and how, and this is, I really want to not miss this in the pod today. Like, you and I used to talk about your dating life and how it was like almost exactly like you would come in and tell me about something and I'd be like, oh my God, it's like travel. Like, you have to set a fucking boundary with this dude.
Dating is like sales, and Marcie and I would go back and forth on text all day long being like, oh my God, another dating is like sales. And I hate that they were voice texts and we didn't write them down because
I know we have missed out on that time of our life, but it's true though, because you're in this moment of like trying to get to know somebody, and if they don't take you seriously, if they don't, you know, if you can't set a boundary, or if they just want to take you to coffee and not to dinner, it's like, well,
girl,
maybe they don't really have the money to be dating you. And now we just take that energy into travel. Like, if they can't value your time and your energy, then they're not the right client.
On some mindset podcast a long time ago, it's actually, some of their episodes are really great. It's called To Be Magnetic. And they had always said that your love life and your money or career life, they grow in tandem. And it is all about like recognizing your worth. And when I started putting my foot down with red flags on Bumble, I started being able to better vet what I was doing in work. And like, once, it's like building a muscle of setting boundaries and telling people no thank you, or thank you.
And you don't have to, I think a lot of people fear that boundary setting is like mean or how it's presented, but like what's really great is it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And like, we can set a boundary through our travel conversations, through dating, like without being a bitch, basically. And so that's actually a skill set I teach in Propose to Close, because so many people get so freaking mad about the random DM. And I'm like, be so grateful for the random DM in travel, because it means they know you're a travel advisor. Check fucking mark. That means you're doing something right. And they want your opinion, which means in some way they believe that you know shit. So at that point, if just because they rolled up doesn't mean you have to give everything away. But when you do give someone the benefit of the doubt, which sometimes in dating you have to as well, right? Because it's like, I don't know you. I don't know how this is coming across.
Always.
It's like,
yeah.
I mean, I haven't dated in years, but I remember like sometimes you just have to be like, that's not for me, but you're a great person, like on with the next thing. But I think people get so frustrated because they're like, I'm not working. Marcie says not work for free, so I'm just not going to answer. I'm going to go. I'm like, no, that's not what I said.
That's
And
just
so that's where help and release came in for me.
yeah.
Like, I do not do the bless and release. I don't understand it. I'm like, no, we help them and then we release them in the most casual, kind way. Like, it doesn't have to be stressful. It needs to take less than 30 seconds. You send you get a message and you're just like, this is not for me. I'm not doing this.
Yes.
Totally fine. Not a big deal. That part is fine. But take a pause and then come up with some response where you're not burning the fucking bridge down.
I know.
Because they might know somebody. And I don't mean to be like, sorry, I keep interrupting, but like, I don't mean to say, no, like they're not the right client for you, or like, what if, because I don't believe in the what if either. Like,
Yeah.
who gives a shit about what if? But being the best version of yourself as a travel advisor is giving something and then saying, but this isn't right for me.
Mhm.
This isn't right for my business. However, here's a little helpful tip, advice. Here's an article. Here's a podcast. Here's whatever. And
I
then
do
saying,
that all
but
the time. Yeah.
right. And it doesn't mean you're just being like, we're not just blah. Like, we're not telling some, if you get a red flag, it's like, okay, that's not for me. So I'm going to go try swiping left one more time.
And I had actually written this down. Dating is like sales. Know your type. Like,
Oh, no, I love that. It's niching.
yeah, so
Know your line client.
yeah. So I'm trying to think. I can't now that I have a boyfriend. I have time. Okay, so I'll just say this: every blonde-haired guy I've ever dated in the past has not worked out, and dark
That's fine.
would work better for me. So we'll just use that as an example. They're my type. I need the tall, dark, and handsome. In travel,
love that.
I need to know my type. I do this help and release weekly, multiple times a week. I do book St. Lucia. I love St. Lucia. I got a DM the other day that was like, hey, we're trying to do a really budget-minded honeymoon. We want to, I think maybe they said we don't want all inclusive. We want to be walking close to stuff. Can you help us? And I didn't even, that doesn't bother me. And I didn't even, you're not my type, but thank you for thinking of me. I just said, hey, I really work with higher end and I don't have experience in St. Lucia with the non-AIs, but I think that you should check this area because you could be walkable. So if you find something nice there, I'd also just look at Airbnbs since your budget is just, $2,000 for the week or whatever. So I helped and I'm like, thank you so much for thinking of me. And I'm sorry that I couldn't work with you, but I hope that you're able to find something with this advice I get. And that's
I always say, like, just because it's
know.
not, everybody deserves to travel, but not everyone gets to travel with this particular travel advisor. There is a travel advisor probably for everyone, but it doesn't have to be you.
Exactly.
And that's how dating is, that finding your perfect person.
It's going for everybody, but everybody doesn't get me.
That's correct. And oh my gosh, I have never been on a dating app. Obviously, because it was well before Eric and I got together and we met through friends. But at the time that I met Eric, I was living with someone and then we broke up and then I dated a few people for free food. I mean, like, that was my standard. If you were taking me to dinner, I would at least go because I was broke. I was working 3 jobs, but I had no money. And I had run up a credit card and had to,
And you're like, I can't
had to pay it back.
trust
But it was like, oh, if you're going to take me to dinner, I'm down, but I'm not going home. So it's like, this is the standard. And I would tell them that up front. I would be like, not doing that. Yes. I've always been like this. And when I was dating younger, when I got out of college and started dating around, I just didn't want to deal with it. Like, I was a waitress at a dive bar. So I got asked out all the time.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And, I think it's important to know exactly what you're going to do, like where your line is. So I do agree that it's similar to travel.
First date. And y'all know where I'm going with that. Don't shave your legs for a first date. We'll just leave it there.
What now? Sorry?
Nothing. Don't shave your legs for a first date because then you can be like, no, I'm absolutely not going home with this guy because my legs are hairy.
Oh yeah, don't shave your legs. I could have I totally missed what you exactly said. I'm like, so true though, especially, oh my God. Yeah. Now I never shave. Oh my God. We've gone too far, guys. Okay. Oh my gosh.
A really good dating story that goes with cells are like dating. As
All right, tell it. Let's go.
well, and this is something we should snippet this part out and put it on maximize because people are going to get a kick out of this. And maybe they'll think I'm not so mean when I tell this story. Okay. I'm going to say the rule of how sales is like dating, and then I'll tell the story. But don't give out your good stuff without a date.
Okay.
Okay. And by travel, I mean, don't quote in the DMs. Don't give them everything they want before they even meet you. They need to
We
set
love
an
this freebie
appointment
tip.
on your calendar. Get on your calendar. And okay, so for dating, I had a single friend. It was not Amanda, but I had a friend at the time. She was also single, and I was like, "Oh, I have a date with this guy coming out this week." And she was like, "Oh, let me see." And she's like, "Oh, I went out with him. Where are y'all going?" And I named one of the like nicest restaurants in Houston, and she was like, "How did you get a date there? He only asked me to meet him at Chipotle for lunch."
Oh my God.
And my point, I was like, well, I don't give out Chipotle vibes. I don't know if you do, but I'm not giving out, like, I'm not meeting at Chipotle for lunch for a date. Like, no, that's after you've been dating a while. That's not a date. Sorry.
That's like we haven't seen each other in about a few days, and I just want to have a quick lunch with
Yes,
you
I'll
after we're invested. Yeah.
Yes, that's when you're dating and he has seen you with no makeup and you just go grab Chipotle. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe the schedule. I think there's a few things that play into that. But on this date, I'm sitting there. Also, I don't eat steak, but it was a really nice steakhouse. And I had said, like, I don't eat steak. I don't eat beef in general. But I was like, but I can always find something else to eat. It's fine. Everything has chicken or fish. And we're there. And he's like, what do you think you're going to order? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, do you like lobster? I'm like, yeah, but that's like $1 bajillion. And he was like, it's okay. Order it. So not only did I not have Chipotle, I had the lobster.
Woo! We love the lobster.
There, and he's like, so, and he's from a suburb like 30 minutes away. He's like, so I went out with a woman in your area. And I was like, oh, really? And then he named her by name.
That is some small town shit. Like,
And guys, we're in Houston. So
I know, but still, it sounds like it's small up in Houston with the dating pool.
right? So I was like, oh, you did? And I didn't say I know her. And he was like, yeah, I don't really see it working out. She was sending me, I don't even know how to say it, topless pictures before we met up. And I'm like, well, of course you're getting Chipotle. There's no
So you did give it away on all the DMs.
So don't give it away in the DMs. Take you to the steakhouse and order the lobster.
Oh my God, that's amazing. But it is such a point. Like,
so that's like knowing your value. You don't just give people all this, boyfriend material when you have not even met them yet.
right.
And I wouldn't sit there and chat with people for more than a week without a date. I'm not here to waste time. I'm not going to sit there and text with someone for a week about their trip if they're not booking it with me. I'm not
right
there and be your Bumble entertainment if you're not taking me out. And that's
right.
So,
Well, and I think it just goes to show that, like, a lot of this stuff I think boundaries alone has not been discussed enough in travel. Like,
right.
we were just expected to show up because Expedia came on the scene. And, and I remember when Expedia came, like, I was in it. And I remember being terrified. And it had been around for a little while, but it was getting really big, like lots of ads. It was everywhere. The internet had finally come full circle where you could search for anything. And we were up against that every single day. And I remember just being desperate sometimes to close a sale because I wanted to beat Expedia. And it's like, we are not fucking Expedia.
Yeah.
Like, own that you have more value than that, because you are not just some random person on the other end of the phone.
Yeah.
You're a human being with a life. And once we realize that our time is super valuable, our family should come first. We're not going to waste our time on bad dates. We're not going to waste our time with clients who just want to suck us dry. And that's what I mean by, like, getting up out of the DM. Like, yes, they might slide into your DM, but you either help and release them, get them in and out of there fast in under a minute, or you send them your calendar and you get the date.
Yes, you get
to the lobster restaurant.
Yes, they do not get to sit there and entertained by you without being on a date, being on your calendar.
Right.
And then you don't chase. I see people, don't be desperate in dating or sales. You put yourself out there, because if you don't leave the house, you're never going to find your Prince Charming, but you keep your value. Don't don't go for I don't know, I guess I do have a minimum spend, but I don't have to say I have a minimum spend because I'm not putting out the vibe that I want to book your Carnival interior cruise, Like
Yeah, your marketing, the way you present what you do to the world, it speaks to a very specific client. And I want you to tell the story about how you did get on the phone with a lower budget client, which was $7,000, which isn't a low budget for everybody, but you turned that shit into what?
Okay, so I don't even think $7,000 was a low budget because it was a honeymoon for
Yeah, that's a good budget. That's what I mean.
$100 is
Yeah, it's a
like
good budget.
they came to me. Marcie, this was the first couple that I booked after like one-on-one coaching. They contacted me like within that actually maybe this was before we started one-on-one, but I bought your Facebook course. So I was like realizing my worth in dating and sales. Yes, this couple, they wanted a honeymoon in St. Lucia, $7,000. And at this time I wasn't doing the first and best, but I made a proposal and proposed Royalton, The Secrets, and something else, Calabash or Coconut Bay. I proposed it to them, and
Calabash wouldn't have come into that budget.
Yeah, I don't remember what
It was probably Coconut Bay.
gave them.
I love me some Calabash though.
Yeah, and I think it was Coco because you are the one who told me Calabash was great. And I remember running this by Amanda, and she was like, I don't really love coconut, but it's in their budget, whatever. So I send it back to her, and I did do the video proposal because I knew about, did the Loom proposal. I sent it back, and she was like, we are really wanting a little private plunge pool or something. And I was just like, that's not $7,000.
Girl,
Yeah.
We're not getting a private anything for $7,000.
So she said, let's check out Secrets. And I was like, well, not
Do you mean
Secrets, sandals.
Okay. I was like,
Sandals.
wait, Secrets isn't there yet.
Yeah. And I hadn't booked, I don't know that I had ever booked sandals. This might have been my first sandals booking, but I was like, we kind of look at it. And I was like, you might be able to get in at Sandals. There's 3 resorts there. But I went and I found, here's what you want, but it costs $14. Okay.
Love it.
So I
love it.
And that was because of that experience, I think maybe if that hadn't happened, when I learned from you first and best, I probably would have been skeptical. But since that had happened to me, actually, I just looked at this. They spent $16,000 in the end, not $14. It was 16.
Wow. So we went from 7 to 16 on one trip, using some of those skill sets of this is how you have to explain it. It's not, you didn't make the price of that plunge pool. We did not.
Yeah.
I said,
create that. This is what you want. You're wanting this plunge pool. And I think that they didn't even get a plunge pool. I think it was sold out. They ended up doing a swim up, but we want the Butler. And then, there's 3 resorts in St. Lucia, 3 Sandals right there. So I just had to say, like, this is the one that you would like. This one's mostly golf. I'd asked someone about the vibe, but then I knew, like, if you tell people this is what you asked me for and this is what it costs, they can take it or leave it. Your feelings can't be hurt if they don't want to pay for it. It's what they wanted. I'm not going to walk into a car lot. A car is a big purchase. Let's say jeans. So I like these jeans. They cost $300. I can't walk into Nordstrom and be like, I want this fit. I want this brand, but I only want to spend $100. They're going to be like, well, they're $300. And if you want mother jeans, you're paying $300.
Right.
And they don't get upset if I'm like, no, not today, or let me wait until next year. We can't.
We have to release the outcome of the presentation, right? Because otherwise we are like, oh, what did we do wrong? What is this? What is that? It's like, well, you didn't do anything wrong. It's people genuinely have to look at their life, their choices, and make the best choice for them. And that even goes, I always get a little like when people are like, we're not competing. No, we're not competing against each other technically. But if a travel advisor doesn't mesh with a client, that client has every right to look for another travel advisor. Right. And whenever people say, oh, I always tell them if they're already working with someone or they've already asked a travel advisor, they should go back to her. And this is a controversial statement, but I think that's complete bullshit. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I have a travel advisor, it's not really working out, because it has happened to me. Yeah. I'll say, okay, well, what doesn't work out? Like I might dig a little deeper to find out Because sometimes it is a client issue, but at the same time, it's just like anything else. Like I've changed my hairstylist 3 times
Yeah.
since I moved to Tampa because of many reasons. And most of them are not personal. It's because the distance to my house. It is because I really want this very specific cut. And I know she's a specialist.
Yeah.
It's like we can't just say like, oh, you already have a TA. I'm not going to work with you. That's crazy to me. That's crazy talk because it's not personal if somebody doesn't click, like,
Yeah.
or it's not personal if you sent them something and it just wasn't quite right. And so they don't trust you anymore because
And
you're
if
not actually
yeah.
asking those questions.
And if you're doing what you need to
It's
be
like dating.
if you're doing what you need to be doing, it's never personal. It might be that you're not a good personality fit, which is fine. You don't want to be paired with a client who has an opposite personality of you. And just like dating, if you are, so if you're using Marcie's courses, I don't know, maybe there are other stuff out there, but if you're hitting the touch points and you're doing what you need to do in that proposal and your consultation call, if they don't book with you, it is because they didn't think it's a good personality fit or it's the price. Like there's no way you're giving them exactly what they asked for and they're just like, no, not today. And I feel like if you did something so terrible that made them not like you because of you, you would know. So
Yes,
for
of
you,
course.
it's really just this isn't a good fit. And there
Mhm.
are lots of times I've sent a proposal out and they ghost, don't get back to me, whatever. Sometimes they do months later, or they'll come back and say what had happened. Like we had a family change, we had a job, we thought about having a baby, something random. None of those are personal. And at the time I would think, oh, they didn't like me, but no, it's not they don't like you. It's typically having to do with money because any kind of travel is a luxury.
It is. It doesn't matter if you're spending 2,000 or 25,000.
Yeah.
It's a luxury for most people.
So
Absolutely.
so if they're just, if you do a good job and you know if you did a good job or not, like on the proposal, if
Right.
you put into it what you need to and they don't,
Yes.
it's typically price or timing. So
And if you are doing propose to close, if you are doing the process and you're sending the email and then the text immediately,
yes.
that's the key because so many travel advisors wait 3 or 4 days.
Oh,
That is like ghosting the fucking client. I tell them this all the time, don't I, chat? Because they'll be like,
yeah.
well, I texted them, but it was like they didn't. And I was like, well, when did you text? Did you text the same exact moment you sent the email? Because if you don't send it, they will not be responsive.
Sales is like dating. If you ask someone out and they don't respond for 4 days and then they're like, oh yeah, sure, let's go out, I'd be like, no thanks, I already lost interest because you didn't like me back right away. I mean,
Yeah, and we are the date too. We're
yes,
dating them. Like
yes,
we have to sell ourselves
yeah.
and make sure we're responsive and make sure that we're doing what we said we're doing. And if you do the process, if you're on the call, you're having that conversation of expectation. Like I'm going to send you first and best, and then I'm going to send you a text to make sure you got it. And if you're explaining all that, I think it's just that specificness, right? Like when I was saying earlier, like not on the first date, not going home. It's like be so specific because I don't want to waste your time and I definitely don't want to waste my time.
Yeah.
So I think like this is so powerful. I feel like those are your 3 free things, but they're not. What are your free tips to travel advisors who are listening right now that they could get off here? They can take their coffee cup, go home and do something right now to change their business.
Okay. First of all, okay, is it 3 free things you can do?
They do not pay for it. They don't have to they don't pay for it. Like there's not like it's not like a course. It's not, you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay. I wrote down 3 and I was like, first, charge a fee. Even if it's just your $50, that doesn't cost you anything. And you want commission with a comma, you only have to charge 4 fees and you've got $1,000.
I
So
love it.
if for
Love it.
I'm a math person,
That accounting is really coming in handy.
you have 4 consultations next month and they want to book with you. If you just charge each one of them $250, you've got $1,000 in your pocket that will keep you motivated to do the work for them.
Absolutely. And if they leave, chat, this happens because we talk about this in the group. If they decide not to book after they've paid your fee, How do we react?
Oh,
What do we say to them? What do we say to, because
we
this
shall
happens
let
all the
you
time.
know. You know where to find me if you do decide. Y'all, I've collected so many fees that they end up not booking, and some of them are like, okay, great, but we found this on Costco, and I am like, okay, great, thank you for letting me know, but I got my $250, so
Right. We have to release the outcome
yeah,
after we've done the work we said we're going to
yeah.
do. And it's okay if they choose not to continue because you got paid for the work you've done up
Yeah,
till.
maybe break it into chunks. Your first part of the work is the fee and getting them the proposal. And that's once they've paid for that, it's up to them if they're going to come back and book it. You do your follow-ups and stuff, but if they don't, they don't. You still made your money. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next
Absolutely.
chunk of work would be, when they decide that they want to book, and then that's your next job with it. If you I do break it up like that, into like, okay,
Do you
well,
charge more than one fee or do you just charge that fee and then, okay. And it's not personal, guys. It's just not clicking with them. And that's not the same thing as taking it
and
personally.
honestly, the last one that this happened, it did click because he said, we love this resort, but we found it on Costco. We're going to use our Costco card and get cash back. And I was like, you know what? Great. That's great. Like, I'm glad you found that deal because I got paid for the hour of work I did setting on the call and putting together their proposal. So that work is paid and done. And then, when they come back, I do all the work for the trip and the servicing them through the trip and afterwards. And that's where you get paid your commission. So if you just think
Absolutely.
they hired me to give them a proposal, I gave them their proposal. What they do with it is up to them. And then you don't take it
Absolutely.
so hard.
I really like that. So what's number 2?
Number 2 is surround yourself with successful people and knowledge. And this has always been big for me. And you can do that for free. You can join Maximize. You can join the Resorts of the Riviera Maya group.
Because we love Lori.
You're dabbling in AIs. You can binge Marcie's podcast. Another podcast I love is Teak Talks, but
Mhm.
I like their older ones. Their newest ones, not so much. Look for the ones, they have a series that's like, what would we do differently if we were starting over? And then there's,
Ooh, I love that. That's such a great idea that I'm not gonna steal. I'm not, I promise. No, seriously, like right now, I just talked to people and I'm like, no, you can't
yeah,
do that because like
other
somebody
ones
else already did
talking
it.
people
Like
talk
me, I've already
about,
done that. You can't
yeah,
take it.
they,
I literally have the most bizarre conversations when people are like, I love this idea. I'm going to do the exact same thing. And I'm like, no, you can't do that.
yeah, we have.
But that's amazing for Teak that they have
Yeah.
that
And then
series.
there's another older podcast that talks about working with the BDM, and they're talking about their work they did with Classic and how they built their business on Classic. She started out just selling itineraries and then started booking travel. So she talks
Yeah.
about how she did that with a full-time job and just working at night with Classic. And then they have one where it's all about insurance and how you can't, like, there's a lot of rules you need to know, and that is very informative. They interview someone in the insurance, and then there's one kind of recently about flights that you need to do, and then you need to take Marcy's air course because
Which isn't free, but is definitely worth taking. However, here's what you just said something else that they can do for free within that. You can surround yourself with people that know stuff about this business, and that is your BDMs. So building relationships with your BDMs is free. And if you're in a situation where perhaps your owner is telling you can't, they are fucking delusional. And you can absolutely reach out privately to your BDM. And if somebody causes a fuss, you need to pull out the 1099 manual, which is on the IRS website, that you get to run your business like you want. And you may build networking connections. And building networking connections inside the travel industry is free. It's just, you have to be in the right places and get to know people and be willing to get yourself on the list for the lunches if you're in bigger cities and attend their webinars. If you show up to a BDM's webinar, that is free, and then you send them an email thanking them for the webinar, saying, thank you so much for doing this webinar. I learned so much stuff. I would love to connect with you on a 15-minute get to know you call because I would like to sell more of your property. they are going to fucking call you.
They do.
And that is free.
They do. I went to a free luncheon here, and lots of areas don't have free luncheons. You know what?
Yeah.
If you're selling all-inclusives, connect with your AIC rep. They are fantastic, or mine have been fantastic, which is the Hard Rock, Unico, and Ava.
Mm-hmm.
I did a free luncheon here, and she was up there. She was like, I was a travel agent for years, and I just started this job, so I'm new. After that, sent her an email. I was like, hey, it was great to meet you. I am looking to do more weddings. I know that you guys have great... Y'all, I got invited to like 4 or 5 FAMs right off.
Just because you built the relationship over a freaking
It
email.
was like, I would love for you to come to one of these. I signed up. I applied for one, and then she responded and was like, she didn't have enough people responding for that date. And so she starts inviting me to someone else's fam that I could make. She just wanted to get me in so bad.
That's
Everyone's
amazing.
complaining about, I don't get fams, I don't get fams. It's because you're not reaching out, because I had to turn down all 5 of those fams because I already had one booked. And then and another one was the one I could make. Well, I was having a surgery too. When I could make was at Ava, and I was like, I really did just stay there. And this, like, it's over my birthday, so I don't want to go. And then she's like, well, the new Unico that's opening in PV, we're going to have a fam. And that's one where you could bring your partner. Like, they're...
Wow.
Yeah,
We
so
love an inside scoop. Like, she totally gave you the fucking tea.
I'm gonna keep you... Reach out, email, and then she friended me on Facebook. She's not in my group, but she, like, when I post I think I posted about having ChatGPT help with homework last night. She, like, comments on, my personal posts. You're building a relationship there, people.
And it is not a one-way street.
No.
Our BDMs do not owe us their time any more than we owe a client time.
Yeah.
So if you are disrespectful, if you only ask for help when shit is hitting the fucking fan, they're not going to see it as an opportunity. They're going to... But I will say now, Chas, if you have any shit hitting the fan, you can like DM her on Facebook and be like, I'm having a shit.
Yeah.
But you have to earn that space. You can't just like walk into it and be like, I'm a TA. I am so important. I am in your region. You have to build it both. Like, I tell this to people all the time. It's so important. And if you're not willing to take that time, why would they take that time for you? It's like dating. My God.
During COVID, it was right prior to COVID, I went to, it was with Moon Palace. She was a BDM. I went to a luncheon here. I reached out to her afterwards, and she was like, hey, I'm going to be in your neighborhood next week. Let's meet for, I think she said lunch. We went to this little wood-fired pizza place, sat there all afternoon having cocktails. And then during COVID, she would be like, hey, I'm bored. Do you want to Zoom? And then it wouldn't even be about work. And she ended up losing her job, but now, and I quit the travel industry, right? Now she's with a private resort thing in Cabo, which I just fell in love with Cabo, and I still have her as a connection. You just have to, it's like building a friendship. And
yes,
there are,
and the BDMs are usually in a certain age range where you can really connect if you are willing to take that time, and just they want to give you that time, but they don't have time for all the bullshit. So if you're bringing bullshit to them, keep that in mind too. Like, we don't like it when our clients just make their shit our shit. Like, it's just be respectful, because it does build lots of... I love my Sandals BDM. I'm obsessed with her. She lives right down the road from me. We get to hang out, and I am not really selling travel as much as I used to, but she is like, no, and she wants to get me on a fam so bad, girl. And I'm like, I do not fam. Don't fam. But I will maybe go to St. Vincent if you ever take a guest.
exactly. Yeah,
let's do it, girl. But I mean, we talk to each other like this. We just chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want your clients, so think of it as we're the client of the BDM. Interact with them how you would like your clients to be with you. Like, I would love if my client tagged me on Facebook because I did something great. Just like your BDM would love if you were like, oh my gosh, so I had a little snag at Hard Rock and Rachel was on that, like, treat them like you want to be treated. And
exactly. And also just like share the love. Like you were saying, like if they are really good, but maybe like not in that, like, for example, like my girl's so amazing. And I'm always like, okay, how do we make sure that everybody's getting this experience? Like, what can the what can the agents do? So when agents complain about BDM stuff, I'm like, no, wait, what have you done for them lately? Like, are you reading their emails? Are you showing up to their webinars? Are you taking their phone calls when they try to get in touch with you? Because those are the things that they do. And if you're unresponsive, then how can they ever connect with you in a real life situation?
Yeah.
So I love this so much. And that's going over and above. But what's your third one?
Third one, let me see. Oh, the third one is, this is my accounting side. Make a spreadsheet and do some math. If
Make
you're
a spreadsheet and do some math.
if you're at a 70% or low, you shouldn't ever be lower than 70%.
70.
I would personally not do a 70% commission split.
Me either.
Once. That was a host I was with in between these last two. I'm at 90% now. If you are paying, I don't know how much annual or $75 a month fee and you're at 70%, you're losing so much money. Type in your sales, figure out what 70% of that is, figure out what 80 and 90% is, and say, I'm throwing away thousands of dollars for only $400 a year. I can bump up here. I can bump up there. Changing hosts is not as scary as people make it. Y'all, it's a business decision.
I'm actually going to do a step by step. I just put it on my list of resources I'm going to create, and I'm going to give it away.
Good.
So I'm going to teach everyone how to transition. It is a pain in the ass, but it's not scary. It's not.
It's administrative work.
It's administrative pain in the ass, but it is not the end of the world. And I was talking to somebody literally this morning who was like, this is going to take me 14 months to fully transition. And I said, but if you wait one more month, that took you fucking 15 months. So get started today, because if you are sitting there listening to us and you're like, I want everything that Chasity has. She has done every damn thing I have ever said to do. And I'm just getting goosebumps because I know how far you have come in such a short time, like blowing it out of the water now. And it is because she has taken the time to run the numbers, get her system set up, and calendar control, like 100%. Like, of course, charge the fees and level up your spend and all that. But at the end of the day, if you want to make real money and have the business you want, she's not wrong. Get out of the 70%. Definitely get the fuck away from the 60 and 50%. Like, what is even that about?
And y'all,
that's ridiculous.
I am not mean. I can be direct. If you need help running numbers, send me a message on Facebook. It takes me 4 seconds and I will do it for you. I've done it for a couple other people. And changing hosts is a business decision. It's like just leaving a corporate job. Some of these hosts take it way too personally. Like, I think it's probably
again not about
the small. It isn't. It's them.
It's like dating. It's not about that. It's about you as the agent.
Yes. And when you're leaving and your host is making it terrible, honey, it's not me, it's you. You need to
for sure
not take things personally in business. And I remember when I was having a hard time, like transitioning to full-time stay-at-home mom, and I thought, this is one of the top 10 largest money corporations in the world. They don't give a flip if Chasity in accounting is leaving. I'm gonna be replaced tomorrow. This is my life. I have to make the best decisions for me.
And if the host agency wants to cut you off, they're just gonna fucking cut you off. They're gonna let you go. They're gonna give you. They're not gonna renew their contract with you if they're not clicking. So it's a business decision. That's why I always say your host company is not your fucking family.
Yeah,
it's not. It's our partners in business for right now, and that can change any time. A host company can go out of business and then you would be forced to change. There's all kinds of stories, and it's like, if you're afraid of your host company, you need to leave. If you're afraid to talk to the owner of your agency, you need to leave. Like, I don't care if you're making 100%.
3 different hosts, and outside agents, and I left them not because of a commission or anything administrative. They are a great host. It was aligning my values with, I wanted to have more options for booking air for clients. I felt like I wasn't like a full-on travel agent if I couldn't do all of the air. So I wanted someone with an air desk, but
had nothing to do with OA.
Nothing to do with them. And y'all, I just sent an email like, I'm canceling my contract. They're like, okay, like, that's it. I was with Gifted Travel Network. Great. I loved it. Their training is top notch, but it was only 70% and their fees are really high. And I did the math. And I was like, I love this. I love being with the Virtuoso agency, but the fees are just sucking money from me. So now I am with TPI. I'm at 90%, love it. But
I'm
honestly,
so glad you found TPI. I know how
yeah,
much you've been looking for just the right
yeah.
fit for you.
And a host is a host to me. As long as
You're not in a fucking relationship.
they offered what I wanted. It was a good personality fit when I met with them.
Mhm.
But I interviewed like several, and some of them were, oh, this would be a great fit, but they're out of my league. Some of them, it would be a great fit, but I'm out of their league. And that's not because my sales were high or anything. It was just a different personality level that I wanted to be with. And I had told Marcie ahead of time that I don't want to talk about this, but I know she was impressed with it. And y'all, I work maybe 20 hours a week. I did the math. Back around, I don't know, beginning of the year, because I wanted to make 6 figures this year. So between part-time accounting and part-time travel agent, I set up like my goal, what I need to make each month to make 6 figures as a single
I'm
person.
so excited for you.
And
I'm
so,
so excited we talked about it.
Marcie, we
Took almost 2 hours to get here, but I'm like,
talked
what do
about it.
you mean?
And then
All the stuff I taught you got you here, and that's my whole that's about me. I want you to talk about it.
morning, because like I'm sending this to my friends and family to listen to. I don't want them to know my money business, but it doesn't matter. I'm literally like paying I'm running one house.
They know you're like a badass. Everybody already knows, but it's like to confirm the amount of effort you have put into both of your businesses, working the least amount of hours so you can be the mom you need to be and put the people that you love first and meet the man of your dreams. All that shit takes time, and
Yeah.
we need to make sure that we're maximizing it. And why shouldn't you fucking be making 6 figures?
Yeah.
Like everybody deserves it.
Yeah.
Everybody listening right now deserves the business they want, the life they want, the relationships they want. And you can't have that if you're being held back by basic ass shit and shitty hosts.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not a thing.
I never thought this would be possible. Like when in my 20s, I did make nicely into 6 figures in my corporate job. I quit to have my kid, and I was like, that's something I'll never see again because I can't be at that career level while also being a mom. And then as a single person, like, oh my God, running this whole, I never thought it was possible. I was bored one day and made a spreadsheet to see if it was. And I was like, here's what I make in accounting. I know that I can bump it up in travel and I can get there fairly easy. It's just,
If you know what you're worth, if you know what you sell, if you're niched, she does destination weddings, she does honeymoons, she's romance
charging the
travel.
fees. If I took out the fees, I wouldn't be close. But I made
Okay, she's like, I'm not gonna say how much I made, but I'm doing good. No, that's the thing. It can be a substantial part of your income, and technically, it's an additional income stream. It's separate from your commission because it's not tied to your commission, guys. It's not tied to your commission, so there's no reason that you can't run the fee yourself, and that's a whole other conversation.
I don't think
But
you can scale without a fee because
you
can
cannot
only sell
scale.
so much travel.
I love that. Thank you, Chas. Okay, one more thing. We are like reaching the 2-hour mark. This is my
my
longest
God.
podcast so far. I know, but I am loving it. And this is how we are when we DoorDash queso. Like, I'm
We
like,
were
no, we just talk
hanging
for
out.
hours. Like, Eric's like, who are you still voice chatting with? And I'm like, well, it's either Miranda or Chas. Maybe Sharon. That's it. Like,
Funny. Oh my God. Yeah.
so, okay. What is your travel agent unpopular opinion?
You can't be very effective if you're not traveling yourself. And you can
Oh, yeah, that's a
sell
good
way
one.
better if you go to the destination. Like, I personally don't sell destinations that I'm not really comfortable with and have traveled there. There are so many, I feel really bad because someone would be like, I just had a newborn and I want to stay home and I'm going to be a travel agent. What can I do? I'm like, you need to take care of your baby. And then when they're in kindergarten, when you can travel, or they're like, hey, we just don't have, I can't travel and I can't, how can I make this business successful? You can read all you want. You can do all the trainings. You can watch all the YouTubes, but that is like describing a menu item or your favorite food to someone when you've never tasted it.
Ooh, so true.
I had never sold
So
coffee.
you have to have some money before you start this business.
You do have to have some.
Because you can't start this business unless you can't travel without money.
Yeah.
There's no such thing, especially right out of the gate. There's no
You do.
super big discounts. And even if you get picked for a fam, that fam usually comes with a fee and your flight and just
Your
even going to the
insurance, your
airport
food.
and parking at the airport. And I think people don't understand how quickly it
Yeah.
adds up. And I want to say this out loud because I got some hateful message last night on one of my ads that said, don't listen to this scam artist. Don't ever buy anything from her because she doesn't know what she's talking about. She says you have to have $5,000. And I was like, I didn't say pay me $5,000. First of all, Samantha, I said you need money for the first 12 to 18 months because you're not making money for the first 12 to 18 months. And it is a bullshit to think you can start an entire ass business for $39 and a laptop per month. Like, please fucking quit saying it. So
Yeah.
these MLM princesses are all up in my shit. And that's exactly who I want to target is people who are getting into predatory situations because they think they can do this from their couch with a newborn and never ever leave the house, never go anywhere, but expect to have a thriving business. 90% of MLM travel agents never make a fucking dime.
Yeah.
They never make money
can
because
focus-
they're paying to play and they don't have the money in their bank account.
You can have a
So-
sweet hobby learning about business and maybe booking a couple of small things for your family, but you're not breaking even. You have to, the $5,000.
It's just $5,000. And I don't care. I mean, and I know that sounds like a lot of money, but like if you don't have 5,000, you'll blow through $5,000 in your travel business in less than a year. Like
If you don't
if
have,
you're doing it right, if
Yeah.
you are setting up your business, if you are getting an account, like if you're understanding the investment of not just time, but that money. And it's like, I'm not the scam artist. I'm just telling you that there are scam artists out there
Yeah.
and they sometimes look like they're in an MLM. If it looks like an MLM and it sounds like an MLM, if anybody's your upline or you're in some group with several other agents and somebody's making money off of that group, it's an MLM.
You do. Yes. If you don't have $5,000 extra, do something. Sell your kids' old clothes. Go drive DoorDash or Uber, or not. I mean Uber, DoorDash.
No Ubers. We're not Ubering as women, but yeah.
Guy who would just sign up to do DoorDash on like football days and make a whole bunch of money while there's a football game because everyone orders their food and wings. Save up. Do some getting a divorce and not having a job other than like 2 bookkeeping clients. I was scared shitless. And then when they said, you don't get money until things get straightened out with your divorce, I'm like, oh my God, like I get half the assets, but I don't get them until it's final. I was like, what? Like in my head, what am I going to do if I can't pay the bills? And I was like, I would have driven DoorDash. My thing was like, go get a job as a bartender at a high-end restaurant.
Oh, for
Also
sure.
meet
For
a-
sure.
meet a mate.
That's what I did when I first started. I was a barista at Starbucks.
Yeah,
Like I
that's
worked
what- see,
4 a.m. I would go in at 4.
Oh my
I would open up the store. Oh yeah, girl. I work the fucking drive-through. And that was when they cash tipped you out at the end of every week. And like it was awesome. And we would just, I was wrap around the building Starbucks. It was like crazy. I would get off at noon. I would come home. I would do a few hours of travel. And then for a time, I also was serving and bartending.
That's-
So, I mean, it's a hustle. Like that part was a hustle for me back then. And I don't necessarily think you have to do all that now, but if you do not have money and you make a mistake or you want to invest in something or you want to go on a fam, like where's that money coming from?
Yeah.
And if you mix your personal and business, as Chasity will tell you, don't fucking mix your personal and business money.
Yeah, and that's the case with any business. You can't start a legitimate business with nothing. Even if you're signing up for one of the direct sales, you have to have your money to start it. And then even so, me as an accountant, I paid, I have a degree, but if I didn't and I wanted bookkeeping clients, I would have paid $5,000 for training. I have to pay for softwares for my accounting. Like there's just costs that you have with the business. You can't run a business for free. I've seen the financials of everything. You cannot run a business for free, but
You can't run a business
you
for
need
free.
$5,000. You need to travel. It makes you just much more legitimate and much more effective as a travel agent.
Love it. We're going to mic drop because it is a full 2. So if you were here the whole time, we love you for that. And I just love that we got to have one of our DoorDash nights on the pod today. I mean, single mom running all the businesses. businesses, found the love of her life, and still just like showing up, like just giving to her clients. I'm just obsessed with you, Chaz. I'm so happy we got to have this time together. And I can't wait till we actually get to we should have a Betty moment.
I know. I'm all
Talk about it in Maximize in front of 13,000 people because Betty's can fit 4 people comfortably. No, she can fit 6.
us and shoot in Georgia. That's all we
Yes, for sure. Like a little girls weekend, we could absolutely do that. But if you want to connect with Chasity outside of this, she's Luxury Travel by Chasity, which I love the basic, simple, straightforward name. And we're going to put all her links and all her ways to get in touch, her group. TAs, don't try to join Chastity's group because she follows the rules. But otherwise, you can connect with her if you have a little accounting question and anything else. So we love how guys. Thank you so much for listening today. And Chas, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap on today's episode, friend. Thanks for hanging out with me again on the No BS Travel Advisor podcast. I hope you're leaving this episode feeling fired up, inspired, and ready to take back control of your business. And let's be honest, your fucking life. If today's episode hit home, do me a favor and share it with your fellow travel advisors who need to hear this. And don't forget to leave a review. Your support means the world and helps me reach more badass advisors like you. And hey, if you've got a story to share or some no BS advice of your own, you've taken a course or two of mine, maybe you've been a coaching client, I want to hear from you. Head to my website to apply to be a guest. I'd love to feature you on an upcoming episode. Until then, you fucking got this. Keep being bold, keep being unapologetic, and keep building the business you fucking deserve. This is Marcie Muensterman signing off with zero fluff and a whole lot of heart.